Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Kevin here, Top 1 Financial Advisor and best-selling author. We are here to talk about the stock market. Now, normally on this channel, we talk a lot about investing, the stock market, and what is going on in the economy. However, when it comes to our own personal finances, it's not the only thing that's going on. There are a lot of us dealing with some level of debt. Student loans, credit cards, mortgage loans, car loans, so on and so forth. And as people without unlimited resources, unless you do have an unlimited bank account somewhere, we do have to make some tough choices. And some choices that we make are better than others. But one of the questions I come to every single year is, should I drain my investing account, drain my savings to pay off my debt? And my answer is almost always the same. So I want to walk you through my thought process here, why I think it is almost always a bad idea to drain your savings or your investing account to pay off debt. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, you can incur debt for a lot of reasons, and I think we all know, right? Again, credit cards, student loans, mortgage, it can be good debt or bad debt, depending on where it is that you fall on that spectrum. However, the golden rule of finance, and this has always been the case, is to pay yourself first, which normally means putting money in a savings account. In today's environment, that's putting money in a high yield savings account, probably on an online bank. Some of the banks I like, Ally, Marcus, I checked my Marcus account, it's paying 3.75. There are plenty of banks that are paying even more than that. That's where your money should be. This is money that's sitting on the side in case something crazy happens. Now, we all say that 3 to 6 months or 6 months to a year is what you should have of your expenses in those accounts. The way that I look at it is, I like to say 3 to 6 months of your mortgage or your rent, because you know exactly what that number is. You probably don't know how much you spend in groceries, exactly how much your cable bill could be, if anybody still has cable. I don't know if that's the case, but everybody doesn't know exactly what they spend, but you know what that mortgage is, and you can have some sense of security and say, look, I know I can live in this space and retain a roof over my head for X amount of months. Now, that's just my metric, okay? Now, at what point does it make sense to take that money out, or even out of an investment account, which is even more dire if you ask me, or a 401k or what have you, and then go pay somebody else? That to me is one of the more dangerous things that you can do as a financial advisor, but as a person, because you could be running into a cycle. Number one, if you are paying back, let's say, a credit card debt is bad. You definitely want to get rid of it as fast as you can. However, taking it out of your savings account, taking it out of your investing account, does double the damage, because number one, if you're taking an investing account, you're paying taxes now. In most cases, not all, you could be paying a penalty if you took this out of a retirement account. If you made money on something, you have to pay taxes now, as opposed to, waiting for a long-term gain or something of that nature, and then pay the taxes and then pay off the debt. And then after all that is done, you have to start all the way back over. I think as Americans sometimes, and this is due to other mega influencers that have been around since the 80s, that we have a distortion of debt. Credit card debt is not good, okay? You're never going to hear me say that that's okay. But just because you have some level of debt isn't the worst thing in the world. I think sometimes we focus so much on paying off debt that you don't pay attention to the other things that are going on in your financial life. If I told you I had $50,000 in debt, that might not be a bad thing. Okay, it might not be a bad thing if you know what the context is. If I have $50,000 in debt, but $200,000 in assets, that's really not that bad, right? That means my net worth is $150,000. Now, if I told you I had $50,000 in debt and it was all credit cards and I have nothing in savings, that is going to be an issue. And that would be a lot more concerning, because credit card debt can charge 25% interest. That's not great. Student loan debt right now is still paused at this point in time, so it might not be as bad. And there are different student loan plans. There are different ways to get out of that debt. There are different programs that are available that aren't available for credit cards. So the answer is no for me, for taking out of your savings or draining your savings to pay off your debt. Because the other thing is too, what happens if you have no savings, you've paid off the debt, your net worth is zero now, and then you stub your toe? And by that, I mean you get a flat tire, something happens to your car, and then what are you going to do? You have nothing to fall back on, and you're going to have to reach for that credit card, and then the cycle of debt starts over. But this time, you don't have a cushion. This time, you don't have a savings, and that is a situation that I think is even worse, because now you paid it off, and you're right back to where you started, but you don't have those assets on the back end. What is the way that you can pay off debt and invest and save? You have a few ways to do this. Number one is the 50-30-20 rule, which is try to fit 50% of your expenses, 50% of your pay as your expenses. So if I get paid, let's say $50,000 a year, I want to try and live off of 25. Now that's easier said than done in some places. You almost never, at least in my case, getting exactly at 50%. Get as close as you can. That is the goal. It's not necessarily the hard and fast rule. But 50% is what I am trying to live off of, 30% is what I get to enjoy, and then 20% is what I get to save and invest. You can play with that percentage, 10% savings, 10% stock market, whatever way that you want to do that. Now that's one way. The other way to do this is to look at your debt critically, because some people say, well, why don't I just wait until I pay off all of my debt and then come back and invest? I don't think that's the best decision, because the stock market is up close to 20% from 2020, and you could have missed out on all of that. You could have missed out on all of that because you waited 3 years to pay off your debt, and you're not going to get that compounding interest year over year. However, let's say that you have, let's say $15,000, and you can pay $15,000 within 1 year. What I would consider is, I've already started investing. This is someone who's already started. Maybe I pause my 401k for 3, 4, 5 months, and I aggressively attack the debt as fast as I can, and then start my contributions again. That could make sense. Now, if it is going to be more than a year, I probably would not do that, because again, every year that you miss, there's going to be compounding interest that you're going to miss out on. Another way that you can do this will be way number 3, is that you can contribute the minimum to your 401k to get that match if your company offers it, and say, look, Kevin says that you want to invest anywhere between 12 to 15% as much as you can, but I've got a lot of credit card debt that I got to get rid of. I got a lot of car debt that I got to get rid of. What I would consider is say, look, they're going to match me at 3%. Let me put in 3% now, so I'm doing something, that I'm growing my wealth in some way, and then take everything else and hammer out the debt as fast as I can. I think that is an okay route. Now, personally, I would like to see you invest as much as possible and pay off debt, whatever's left over. But not everybody's not built that way, and that is fine. The key thing is that you have some level of balance. The last thing I'll say on this is, again, there are different categories of debt that do different things and have different costs and benefits to it. I do not think that you should sell out of everything and weigh your student loans or even your mortgage debt over your investments. I don't think many people think that anyway, but you don't want to do that. Credit card debt is the number one thing that you do want to knock out. Okay, for me, I don't charge nothing on my card that I can't pay off before that bill comes due. That's me. That's the best way, in my view, to manage your credit card debt. For those that think that you have to have a balance for your credit score to be good, it's a lie. That is a rumor, a zombie rumor that will not die, and I don't know why. But in either case, definitely take care of the credit card debt. Everything else, I think, can be done in moderation. Pay more than the minimum if you can. Make extra payments if you can. If you have a mortgage, my goal is not to pay off my mortgage in 10 years. I really don't. It doesn't benefit me, because my interest rate at the time I bought was 3%. That interest rate does matter. So 3% is what I'm getting in a quote-unquote return, whereas the market gives me a lot more on any average year. But what I do to pay off my mortgage just a little bit faster is making bi-weekly payments. Not every bank allows this, but it's just a little inside trick that I use. I think it cuts off like 6 years or something to my mortgage. If y'all want me to do a whole video on it, I can break all that stuff down, but it allows me to make an additional payment. So instead of making 12 payments per year, I'm making, 26 every 2 weeks? Yeah, so I'm making 26 payments, and those last 2 payments equal 1 full payment, and then you stretch it out over the 30-year mortgage, and then you pay it off just a bit sooner. So that is how I do it. But in all things, you want to have balance, and what you don't want to do is expose yourself to greater risk by selling out of your assets and leaving yourself with nothing just to pay off debt, and especially a debt that is reoccurring and that can come right back around. All right, now, housekeeping stuff for today. Number 1, I got nominated for the MAIA Financial Influencers Award. There are only 12 people that are nominated. It's really fun and really awesome. I don't know which one of y'all nominated me, but I appreciate it. But now we need to vote. There is a link right down in the description. When you click it, you'll scroll down, you hit my name, and I think it has you to register. The easiest and fastest way, you can type in your name and email and all that kind of stuff, but the easiest way is just hit like the, you sign up with Gmail, sign up with Facebook if you have it. That's gonna be the fastest way to sign up. So voting ends at the end of this month, so put in as many votes as you wish and choose. I really appreciate that. As you see here, we are an award-winning channel because of y'all and what we do here. That's announcement number one. Announcement number two, book club. It's open. That link is down in the description below. Our first meeting is going to be on Friday, the 28th. We're going to meet the last Friday of every single month until we are done with the Intelligent Investor. Now, a few people signed up yesterday. It's still open. The reason that we have it once a month is because it's going to give you plenty of time to read chapters 1 through 4 by the 28th of April. Library, Amazon, local bookstore, wherever it is you want to get it, go ahead, get it, start reading at whatever pace you want. We'll be done by with chapters 1 through 4 on the 28th. I've gone through, I think I'm almost done with that section, and I'm writing up some questions and things that we can discuss. The book is real interesting. This book is real old too, but I've got a lot of thoughts and comments that we'll talk about here pretty soon. So that is that. Make sure that you sign up for our members only as well. Dropping 2 new videos this week, so you want to make sure you stay tuned for that. All right, that is it for me. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.